There you go. So I unmuted myself. How's everyone doing? I was wondering why you were all ignoring me. It's so rude. Hello. So here's the plan for today. New day, new art. That's right, Mr. Park. Top of the morning to you. Good evening. Good morning to you. Good evening to me. Since it is a lovely 6 p.m. for me. Okay, you guys ready to do some drawing today? Okay, I'll tell you the plan for today. Get some pens out. Got a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff. A lot of good stuff. Are you guys ready to start the weekend, though? Who's ready for the weekend? Go hang out at Triple Street. Get a corn dog with sugar on it. Let me see if I can get this HD webcam to work. Done. No. No. No, it's not working. I wonder if I'm going to have to log in and out. I wonder if it'll work on a yellow USB. Does it matter? Like the color matter? What's a yellow USB mean? Okay, here we go. Not that one. Yes. Power. That. It's even hanging there in the screen. There we go. Oh, that one. That one. Okay, game plan today for this beautiful Friday. Enjoy these little lights up here. Those are the lights in my room behind the green screen that are coming through. You can't hear me? Can anybody hear me? One, two. So I see the volume. How about now? Can you hear me now? Okay, so everyone else can hear me. So Junie, there may be an issue with your audio if everyone else can hear me. Okay, so the game plan for today is pretty simple. Today we're going to have a lecture at the beginning of the class for the first hour-ish on perspective drawing. Okay, and then the plan is after that perspective drawing, I'm going to do that in the sketchbook by hand, just to talk about perspective and drawing and some quick techniques to draw in perspective. Oh, Junie, you're fine. You are fine. You're just good. Then for after that, we'll take a small break. Come back and we'll just do a 30-minute in-class assignment. We'll be recreating one of those. We'll be recreating the 2-point perspective boxes in Photoshop. So you'll be submitting those to Canvas, and I will update the assignment for that. And then for the last hour and a half, will be open lab, which means I'm giving you time to work on your assignments, and we'll talk about that. So right at the beginning of that hour and a half, we're going to look at your silhouette drawings. And don't ask me to spell silhouette. We'll look at your thumbnails. And then we will go over the next step on the assignment and then let you work on that. Does that sound good to everybody? Sounds good to me. I think everyone's here. I'm going to hold on one second. Maybe I'll leave the lights on so we can have better light here for the drawing. It's entirely possible after we do this demo that I'll have a hard time reconnecting Photoshop because I have to re-plug in my Cintiq. So we may have to adjust that. Okay, let me pull up my stuff here. Okay, and feel free to draw along with me. Some of these are just going to be exercises to talk about the different perspectives points. Okay, so this will be really quick. Cool, we can have a long break. Over the weekend? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, a long break to work on your assignments. Okay, so let's talk about 1-point perspective. And anybody want to type in, give me a thumbs up or give me a yes if you've had very much experience studying perspective drawing or perspectives in general. Yes, in Art 1020. Okay. Oh, when I'm setting up, yeah, it shouldn't take too long though. Okay, so everyone knows what 1-point perspective is. So some of this might be a refresher for Grace, maybe a little bit more. But 1-point perspective, perspective is what allows you to draw in depth in images. And there are some tools that you can use in your arsenal to help you figure out the perspective or how to draw, especially anything architectural or man-made. A lot of times the perspective really helps you draw those well. And so we're not going to go super deep into it today. This is going to be a brief overview talking about 1, 2, and 3-point perspective. And this will actually help you not as much with your character because characters aren't drawn as much in perspective, although they kind of are. But if for this next assignment, if for the prop or weapon you're creating, if you draw in flat 2D, and then if you're able to kind of give it some perspective or some depth, that will help as well. So let's talk about 1-point perspective. So anyone want to chime in and say what 1-point perspective is? It's not very focused. Let's see if I can focus that better. It's manual. That looks better. Maybe. Nope. So Junie says nope. Not really. Okay, so let's draw something in 1-point perspective. Let's do a box in 1-point perspective, shall we? All right, so let's draw a drawing method that shows things appear to get smaller as they get further away. Very good. It's almost like you looked it up, which I'm totally okay with, Sem. 721. So let's 1-point perspective is just like what it sounds. So we're just going to draw a dot right here. So that's our perspective. That's where all of our vision goes straight to that one dot. So 1 point perspective is really good for something really far in the distance, because once it gets if that perspective vanishing point is what it's called as well, it gets too close to you, it can cause issues. I'll show some images up. One of the things that is always shown as a 1 point perspective is things like, have you ever stood on a railroad track or a road, and as the sides of the roads move away from you, they slowly move into 1 point. They coalesce into 1 point in the distance, and that's basically the gist of 1 point perspective. So if we were drawing from 1 point perspective, basically all the vision lines go straight out and away from that vanishing point. So it really doesn't matter. As long as the lines are straight, they work. As long as they go away from that vanishing point. Basically, wherever that vanishing point 2 is, that would be the horizon line as well. Right? Does that all make sense so far? Now, if I were to create like a box on this, let's create a box using these. Okay, so the box itself, all of the horizontal lines that match the horizon line, we're going to keep those straight on those box, and then the shapes going up would be perfectly vertical as well on 90 degrees. So we're going to make this box a three-dimensional object, right? So we're just going to follow any of the corners on this, can just match straight back to the vanishing point. Put it straight back there. And then we can finish off the box on either side by drawing a straight horizontal line and a straight vertical line. So now this box is vanishing off into that corner, right? So as you can see, if you can figure out that vanishing point, you can do a lot of things. You could turn that box into a couch, or which is just a bunch of cubes or anything like that. So looking down at this box, does that look like I'm looking at it from eye level, bird's eye view, or worm's eye view? We've kind of talked about this a little bit. Eye level. So Junie says eye level. Any other agreements? So I think it's pretty close to eye level. I'd say that corner is pretty close. So eye level is essentially anything on this line right here. So let's draw a box at eye level. So if we're just going to draw the base of it right here. And actually, I'm drawing these wrong. So this should follow that corner. No, I'm right. I was right. Hold on. Sorry, guys. If it wasn't an angle, that would make sense. But this is straight on. And then these ones would go like that, right? It's okay to make mistakes. One point perspective. All right. So Junie says he agrees that that's at eye level. So if this is eye level, what's this one? In our 1 point perspective drawing. And if you have sketchbooks handy, you can totally draw. Yeah, so this one would be eye level, right? Blue Wing Sniper, thanks for looking out for me. So we've got eye level right here, which makes sense because it's on the horizon line, right? Thanks, Blue Wing. You're awesome. So if that's eye level, what's this guy right here? While you're thinking about that, let's draw one more. We'll just follow straight to that line from any of these corners. Okay, so we've got eye level here. This is, okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. This one would be bird's eye level, or bird's eye view, because you're looking down on the object. Now, I will agree with the argument that it's not super bird's eye. It could be down lower, but we are looking at it from below. And this one would be worm's eye view, right? And then I'm just going to do another one over here. We'll just do a little box. So the nice thing about drawing in 1-point perspective is your horizontal and your vertical, if those boxes are lined pretty much at you, are pretty straight. Go straight at it as well. And I do a line as best I can at this angle. Okay. So then we have one more bird's eye view over here. And just front. So this is 1-point perspective, right? So the meaning of this is from 1 point, we'll write that down. Is all the points converge on one single point, one single perspective. So while we're at it, let's make these even look more 3D. So just to emphasize some color on this. Okay, so let's pretend there's some light coming down on these. And let's say the light is coming from this direction, if that's visible, right? So I'm going to do some highlights on these to show where the light would be coming from. So if the light's coming from this side, it would hit the box right here. And this is going to help us when we do Photoshop too. I just like to do things in markers and Photoshop. So just so show that really doesn't matter what you use. They all kind of work together. So if we're looking at from the worm's eye view looking up at something on the very bottom, that would be the most shadowy section right there. Sorry about the beeping. Can you guys hear that? I'm going to turn it down. Okay, there we go. Somebody keeps messaging me. Okay, so let's do a little quick color. So that if we looked at the side on the opposite of the light, it's going to be a little bit dark because it's got shadow on that side. Same with this one. And we're looking for some more that would have that shadow. It's probably like an N5. lighter. But this is where the light is hitting it now. So the light is hitting on those sides. So Junie says nope. Nope. So hopefully that's working for you. Okay, so that's 1 point perspective. Okay, and so you've all studied perspective, so you should all be familiar with that, right? So let's hop on to the next one. So what is, I mean, you don't hear the beeps. Oh, that's good. So one of the things we could also draw, and I'm not as good at that, but we're just going to try it. So that we wouldn't have a direct shadow on the ground from that top one, but on these ones, with the direction of the arrow, you would have shadows following the box shape and the point that's coming from the light. So it would be something like that. This one would be coming out with that similar shape. And this one would be coming out like that as well. And so now they start to feel like they're actually objects sitting on the ground, on this ground plane that's coming across from that 1 point perspective. Okay, so we've covered 1 point perspective. That's great. Putting on 3D goggles. Good job. Good job, Occasional Player. Everybody welcome Occasional Player to the chat. So here's one of the perks is at the University of Utah, if you're actually a grad student, I don't know if you know this or not. It's not so much for the undergrads, but one of the perks of being a grad student at EAE is you can audit or sit in on any class at the grad level. So even if you're not taking that class, you can sit in on it and audit it. Kind of come and go as you please a little bit on the master's level. And so that's the way I consider Occasional Player. He was once my student in the grad program, so now he has full range to just sit in classes, make his super awesome comments. But really, we're excited to have him here. So Occasional Player, that's what I said, any EAE class. What's 2 point perspective? Occasional Player is when someone does really well and gets 2 out of 10. I'm waiting for one of my students to chime in. Occasional Player, you lose. 2 points. Kind of right. Even when you're wrong, you're right. All right, that's right. So it's pretty obvious. We just did 1 point perspective. That means the vision converges on one single point. And in a 2 point perspective, your vision converges on 2 points. Fahrenheit 350, I asked what 2 point perspective means. It's a scene with 2 vanishing points, okay? Got it. Gloria. Extra points for Gloria today. And I apologize for my lighting. I'm missing one of my lights in the center, so it means my green screen flickers. So we're just going to have to live with that. It's one of the perks of the job. 2 vanishing points. Yes. So let's draw 2 vanishing points. So when I was younger and I was taught perspective, I think in high school and even in some college classes, perspective is one of those things that never really clicked with me very well early on. And this happens to a lot of people. I've known a lot of really, really good artists. Fahrenheit 350. I'm trying to teach a class here, lady. But I think a baking Twitch channel would be awesome. Okay. Oh, occasional player just talked about baking textures. But it never really clicked with me. But I've seen some phenomenal artists and character artists who are always buying books on perspective because it's one of those things that you really have to practice and think about all the time. And eventually, when you get good enough, you can kind of just wing it and fake in the perspective. And it's kind of noticeable, especially when I'm modeling concept art into 3D and you can tell that those they didn't really use a ruler to measure out those perspectives, and I have to end up guessing it myself. But enough of that. Let's just start. Let's just draw our 2 points. So we're going to draw 2 perspective points here. And I'm using a red pen. I think what I'll do is I'll draw out some lines with red pen, and then I'll use... is that blurry? Apologize. It's just bothering me. Try and focus it in a little bit more. There we go. Okay, so with that, so you don't really need rulers though. As long as you kind of like practice making straight lines, as long as they're kind of close. But from here, I can kind of just do the same thing as we did with the single point, just shooting out lines straight across. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So they're going to kind of crisscross each other. So with 2-point perspective, your vertical lines are always going to be straight up and down, but now your horizontal lines are going to point towards the 2 perspectives. So to actually start drawing a box, the way I'm going to start that is I'm just going to pick. I can either pick the top or the bottom point of that box. So I'm going to draw one down here. And then I'll draw one straight up for the top. This will be the top and bottom. This is the height of my box looking at me. And then from that corner, I'm just going to send a line lightly straight back to my vanishing point on that side and straight back to the vanishing point on that side. And then I can just draw out another vertical line to notch out the sides of the boxes. And the same here, this one stretches straight out to the vanishing point as well, and so does this one, so I know exactly where to draw those lines. And we have a box based on 2-point perspective. So this is similar to that 1 point I did, but now I can see more sides of the box. Mr. Park had a blackout in his apartment and missed the first 6 minutes of class. Luckily, these VODs are saved on Twitch, and you can go back and watch it later, my friend. So, bonus. Okay, so based on our last discussion, what viewpoint is this? I'm going to even darken it up. I'm told, oh good, it's not blurry. Bird's eye view, yes. So this is a bird's eye view. If it's below the horizon line, it's bird's eye view. Okay, so now if you wanted to see what the inside of this box looked like, we could actually do that too. I'm gonna do some dotted lines to kind of show where the inside lines would go. And these are about as straight as I can get them. Go like right there. Straight down. So that's kind of where the inside of this box would be. If it was glass and you could see through it, because it is a 3D object. This is like modeling in Maya on paper. So this is the original Autodesk Maya. It started on a piece of paper and eventually went to computers. Where are the birds? The birds are up. The birds are like, the birds, I am the bird. Did I say above? I meant below. Do you have to draw them? I think you should draw them. I'm going to have an assignment in a minute where you're going to. Those soft edges, though, am I right? Okay, so let's draw another one. So this is going to be similar to the other one we just did. And you notice you could just start drawing these anywhere on this, this paper. But let's do one up here now. Okay, so bird's eye view, worm's eye view, or is this or is that eye level? I'm gonna ask Mr. Park. That's right, Mr. Park. It's eye level. And Junie, thank you so much. You're awesome. Okay, let's do one more. So you can see that this is very similar to 1 point perspective. We're just sending those horizontal lines out towards the 2 perspectives, though. So let's draw one more up here. We'll draw it kind of up high. We just draw these straight lines straight out of it, straight up towards it. So they're not perfect, but for like just sketching something out, they're pretty darn close. If I wanted to bust out a ruler, I've seen people use like a rubber band, which is pretty cool, to get like perfect lines. Not necessary though. Okay. Eye level. And this one would be, who wants to chime in? Occasional player said, will you be UV and texturing these? I absolutely will after this one. Oh yeah, the second box. Worm's eye view, yes. Because imagine you're this little worm right here, right? So you're this little worm looking up at that box and you can see the bottom of it. So that would be the worm's eye view. And once again, it's because this would be the horizon line, which isn't even straight, but whatever. We'll live with it. I totally drew that off the side, right? So if we were looking at that from below, just like I said, like maybe the worm would be looking at the bottom of this building and it would have that dark bottom on it. Okay, so you can see where this would come in handy. So for example, if this were a building now, right, and then we wanted to start adding doors and windows, the nice thing is because we have like this, these guiding lines for us, we can start adding things like doors. So if we just put in straight vertical lines and just follow that horizon line, we can add a door to it. And same thing up here up top, we want these windows to look straight. We can do that too. And it looks like a person now. These just need to follow that guiding horizon line. So on this side, these ones would follow this horizon line. So they would match perfectly. Worm's eye view, everybody says. So let's add another, just for funsies, let's add like if this had an extra section on it. Follow that down. Now this kind of tears up like a cake. Keep building that building up, right? Do it again. Actually, and there. You can see how that would start tearing up as a building. Okay. So that is, we have now gone through 1 point perspective, 2 point perspective, and now I'm sure you guys can guess what we're going to do next. We're going to skip third and go straight to 4th point perspective. So occasional player, what's 4 point perspective? So that I think the 4 point perspective actually takes you into the 4th dimension. Yeah, I don't think it exists, but there is a 3 point perspective, and the 3 point perspective, occasional player, 3 point perspective isn't used as much. Yeah, 4D. Yeah, so 3 dimensions, right? So we can do a 3 point perspective, and 3 point perspective is good for like I don't know if it's used that much. Like if you're on top of a really tall skyscraper, or down below, like looking up, and so it's not used as much. So I certainly don't use as much, but we're gonna try. We're gonna try some 3 point perspective for y'all. And the way that works is just kind of like it sounds. So let's see, we could either do like a building looking up or looking down. Let's do one. We'll just do one looking down. So let's have a horizon line up here on the top of the paper. So we'll do our 2 points just like we did before. And so we're going to try and do like a bird's eye image here. So we have the 2 points up here, but now we're going to have a 3rd point down here at the bottom. And I'll make sure that it's kind of on camera. So here's the horizon line up here going to those 2 points. And then just like we did before, they have, boom, these bursts of rays just going straight lines emanating from these 2 lines, just like you would from a ray of sunshine. I don't know. We're just making it up. Let me close my phone. I always get calls from wrong numbers, and I always tell them I'll call them back because that's what I do. Okay, so we're going to do this. We're going to attempt the mighty 3 point perspective. So let's draw some arrows going out from the bottom. It's starting to look a little bit convoluted. I'm even dropping my pencil, but we're going to start doing it. So now these ones no longer have a horizontal, like the vertical lines are no longer straight. They now follow the rules of this 3rd perspective. So we no longer have any 90-degree angles, or very few 90-degree angles at all. Yeah, so occasional player put it right. 3 point is pretty common in illustrations. They create very dynamic views. Yeah, very dynamic. So if you think of good examples are like Spider-Man jumping from rooftops, there would be a lot of 3 point perspectives of him looking down at the buildings, which I'm going to kind of draw right now. So let's draw, we'll just choose this point right here. And we're going to draw, maybe this is a building looking down into the ground. So I'm going to make this kind of long. And then this point at the bottom, you know, it's no longer a straight line, would go straight up to this next horizon line. Point it up to there. And this one from the top as well, which we have this line right here. Now what we want to do is pick that where that box ends up here. And then we'd follow this back to our 3rd point. So that would make a dot right there. So all up and down lines follow the 3rd point, while the horizontal lines to this box follow from the vanishing points to the side. This one, same one, will probably meet it to about there. And then the vertical line, same thing. This would follow straight down. That kind of, yeah, so I'm doing it kind of muddy because I do. All these two. So if I had a ruler, this would look much cleaner and more precise. But essentially, this could be like the rooftop of a building up here. And you see how it gives that perspective of not only the 2-point depth, but then the third view going down, right? So this is like you're up on top of a building. Comics, yes. So on all the occasional players comics, right? So if we had another one, like, let's do another one. Let's do one that's overlapping. So this one would be in the front, right? So let's do another one that would be like right here. Let's do a line straight up. So there's a tall building right behind it, kind of overlapping. You'd have this point right here. And then let's just leave it right. Actually, I don't like that because it goes so far. Let's do it. This is a wide building. Right? So now you've got the blend of these two shapes going behind. One of them is bird's eye view, and then you've got one that's more eye level, and then we could even pull one up higher that goes to like real worm's eye view that would really expand out. It's kind of weird. Yes, that is the new Xbox. Okay, so that's 3-point perspective. Pretty exciting. So that lecture was pretty quick. Yeah, I think I messed up one of the lines. That's the problem with using sketching away from me with a pen. So we're going to take a small break, and I'm going to hook up my my Photoshop, and then I'm going to show how you can make these lines a lot more precise and quicker. The horizon line on a 3-point perspective. So it's usually either at the top or the bottom of the page. So I think I kind of messed up on that. Or equidistant from each other if you're just drawing like just a pure box. But like, so for example, a lot of times it depends. So I'm going to do a quick drawing. So like if I'm doing a drawing of like a worm's eye view looking up, I would probably put my horizon line at the bottom like this, right? And then I would put my third point up here. That way, if I drew a building per se, I'm just going to do this really simply, and I was looking down on it like right here, right? Then the building itself, the base would be right here, and then it would go up from there. So then here would be the top. So this is more of like the worm's eye view from there. So the horizon line's at the bottom. Conversely, if you were looking at something from bird's eye view, then you would change the horizon line. Would probably be much higher because you're flying above it, right? So we're going to put the horizon line up top, put it across. We're going to put the perspective point down below. No, is that what I just did? No, that is not what I just did. Yeah. So they would go like, yeah, that's right. So they would go like that. And then these ones would go like this, per se. And that way, yeah, I'm drawing it wrong. Start with this one. it would be like that. Be like you're looking down at the building. Yeah, you could look at it downwards. Yeah, so you can look at it both ways. So that is the upwards. Or did I draw that wrong? Yeah. So that's like you're looking up. Yeah, and I could draw it off on an angle. That's just the simple way. So I'm looking up at the building. Here's my horizon line. And this one, horizon line's up there, and I'm looking down. It's a down view. Does that make sense? And we're going to do that in Photoshop in just a minute, and you guys are going to follow along. It's going to be amazing. Okay, so hold tight while let's take a 10-minute break. We'll see you back here at 5 after the hour. Can the object be on the horizon? Yes, it can be on the horizon. It can be above it. It can be below it. Test it out, Mr. Park. Okay. I thought I had a be right back sign. What did I do with it? There it is. It's clear at the bottom. Hanging out. Okay. I'll be right back. Hello, hello. Okay, it's working. Okay.